Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Fixing a little breakfast. Wanted to come on here and yak for with you for a minute. So, remember the other day I came on here and I specifically asked y'all who went over there and knocked off that man, the cartel leader in Mexico. And I found out it was us. Well, actually, it's reported that his female friend gave us some good information, spilled the tea to us, but apparently it was the Mexican police or Mexican team that actually did the do. Now we got blamed for it, so I wouldn't put it past us that we actually went over there and did the do. But listen, them people started tearing Mexico up about that man. They was pissed off. The militia, they was pissed off. And they done snatched up a few United States citizens over there. Angry because their man is gone. I want to know what the tea is that was spilled to us and how it is that we got the tea before he got gone. You know, we be doing things that's not always discussed out in the open, so it ain't no telling. But this is about to be very interesting because Ant was in the middle of a video talking about there's a food shortage as I was getting ready to go online. So I can always go back and check it out later. But here's the thing. I know I posted it on my wall last night, but I know y'all saw Jelaine walking around over there with that man with the cane in Israel, right? I saw that video last night. I posted it on my wall. I got up this morning and they have a journalist or may even have been a YouTuber. I don't know how he got on the plane that went to Israel, but he got up and went over there and confirmed that Jelaine and Jeffrey reside in Israel. Now they have colored her hair blonde. She's wearing a cap. And it's funny because they were walking out in public in broad daylight. The man walked up from behind her and called her by her name, and she turned around and gave him a shocking look. He called her name again, and she shook her head and said no, as though she couldn't speak. But she was cold busted. And when I tell you if that was not her, she was definitely a copycat of her. She had on a hat as though that was gonna, well, it wasn't really a hat, it was more like a beret, as though that was gonna help her disguise any. But he recognized her and the man she was with. So, you know, it was just a few days ago when I was watching her, well, what appeared to be her in the joint, and she was walking around outside. Um, she is not in she is not in a dungeon. She is not in a black hole. Uh, they don't have her suffering. She's not suffering for her crimes over there, or from what I could see. Um, and it is very, very much interesting. Um, it's very, very much interesting to see that her time spent behind bars was very, very minimal, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the files are out now, And I'm sure the tea has already been spilt on whoever it was that was trying to they was trying to protect. But here's the tea. As you come across them talking about certain people on social media, take note who they talking about and then go try to Google them up. Google them up as in not, well, you can actually Google who they are too, what they do, but what I want you to Google is where are they now? Kind of like we're not doing a Google to see what their past life is. We're Googling to see what's going on in the active life. Because from what I'm getting, and I've been getting this for the last about 2 weeks, that people was disappearing, and I wasn't registering that with the files. But come to find out, they are arresting these people and taking them over to Gitmo to be dealt with, to stand before the tribunal. So, they saying that a lot of people that y'all are reading about it in the files, because a lot of people are doing a deep dive into the files and they're reading and studying and trying to get an understanding, and everything is coming out. But those people are quietly getting snatched up and took across the water. Now that's the part that I can't wait to see. And of course, I would want detriment to see it, but I'm more concerned with getting those people who were difficult to believe, people who we tried to share this information with 4 or 5 years ago. I want them to see the truth. I want them to be shocked. I want them to be like, what? Oh my God, why they didn't tell? I want them to know. And in order for them to know, in order for us to see um, the tribunals, we would definitely be in martial law, and we would be graced with the EBS system. So yeah, it would be almost a we would be in detriment almost, um, to be able to see that, because once that law, that martial law, is activated, then that is when the streaming of the activities over at Gitmo would happen. It would be on your TV, on your radio, on your cell phone. You wouldn't be able to look up nothing, do nothing, call nobody. You can't do nothing but see the stream. And that's what I'm interested in. I have been reading, studying, watching for years. I have been brushing up on going through files. Momo has been hooking me up with info, explaining and carrying me the whole way down the road. And it's very, very it can get deep. And if any of you guys have jumped down that rabbit hole, you know what kind of deep I'm talking about. Hmm. I'm getting breakfast. I'm putting together my breakfast right now, so forgive me for interrupting. Uh, but yeah, so now everybody is aware that Gitmo is the place that the people are being taken to. That's where they're being. That's where their punishment lies. Is over at Gitmo with Admiral Randall, and now it is coming out about the body doubles and the clones and this, that, and the third. And I was just watching somebody the other day that was talking about Jamie Foxx, and they were saying they saw him in Vegas. He said he came out with his kids, and said his daughter said a man behind him said, "That's not that nigga. That's not him. That's not him." You know, and he was laughing because it was him. But you know what? To me, that was comedy, That was Jamie giving us comedy because he know for a fact that he has not one, but he has two doubles. So um, that was just some lightweight feathering to confirm and let the people know that some of this stuff is definitely true. And you have to be able to read between the lines because they can't just stand up and tell you like I would like them to do. I would like them to just stand up and tell you. Um, and it's talking about a shortage of food. Now that part kind of got me. A shortage of food? Why would we have a shortage of food when y'all so-called printing food now on the 3D printer? Why would we have a shortage of food when we lost a lot of people 3, 4 years ago? Why would we have a shortage of food when you guys are claiming there is still post effects because of the Kool-Aid mixture and whatever, and what is in alarm? Am I still on? Okay. Um, because of the post mixture, right? There's supposed to be some consequences to those who uh, who whined and dined on the Kool-Aid. Um, so why is it that we're having a shortage of food all of a sudden? See, if you remember back in the day, I said he is going to break us down to rock bottom as though we were third world country just to prove a point and just for us to know to not ever let anybody put us back into the position we were formerly in because we're supposed to be headed to a better world. Well, I still want to believe in that. I still try to have faith, but the reality of it is when I did a search looking for how many executive orders were signed that reversed civil rights, I was very disappointed in what I found. Um, and so far, there are three civil rights that have been reversed. Now, one of those civil rights, and I don't, I can't remember if it was combined with the DEI situation, but it almost felt like what I had read was that we'll lose the Equal Opportunity Commission. Now that would be unfortunate because the Equal Opportunity Commission protects people who work, who have jobs, to make sure that you're not discriminated or harassed, at your job. And it would be unfortunate if that department was to cease to exist. Last night, a young lady deep dived into the files, and again, I was half asleep, so I haven't looked into it. But according to her, they have lowered a couple of things. They have lowered the consent, the age of consent is apparently between the age of 12 and 14. I disagree with that. Uh, and I don't know how that was passed without population voting, but hey, a lot of things are happening right now. They also stated that they are talking about moving the Department of Education under the Department of Labor. And the way now again, I have not been able to verify this or look into the details, but when I do, I'll bring it to you. But the way that she laid it down was that um, education, the reason that education is being moved to the Department of Labor is that they're claiming that now kids will have the right to work at an early age. It would be oversaw, I guess, and managed by the Department of Labor. And then this again brings in tricky language that have tricky consequences, right? The way she spoke on it was not in a positive light because, again, we're talking about the kids. Um, you know, a child at the age of 12 has no business working. They're still in school. As a matter of fact, they're in junior high school at the age of 12 or middle school at the age of 12. Um, 12 and 14. So, no, they shouldn't be working. They should have their ass in school. But I don't know. That's a tricky one. I would really have to look into that and see what it entails and how it's broken down. But I don't agree with that. And I don't think that's good, and I cannot imagine what that is for. But let it be told, they're still after the kids. I don't know. I don't know. Um, yeah. So today is going to be an interesting day. I will say this. You know, I've been peeping some things, and it's very unfortunate to it's very unfortunate to see people play in your face. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say that and leave it. It's very unfortunate to see people play in your face because I feel like you know if you have something to say, you say it, right? Um, and for whatever reason, people choose not to. But that don't mean that people don't feel that smoke, right? So I'm gonna say this. You know, it's funny how you can watch people stand up to someone who been on their side, but they can't stand up to the people who treat them like shit. And that's really unfortunate. I can see, I saw a person. I can't even describe it. But let's just say this. I saw it, I heard it, and I felt it. Boundaries are in effect now because here is my thing. If I can be there for you, I expect you to be there for me. Those are my boundaries. Those are my goals, choices, and decisions. We've talked about them. So when I see a person flipping on me, changing on me, or doing something different, or trying to, you know, hold a nuts up on me, then I would just back into oblivion because it's funny to watch a motherfucker fall in the hole that they dug for you. It's very humorous. That is a very humorous action. I enjoy watching it, and I think it's really funny because at the end of the day, uh, a motherfucker will hate me uh, because I spoke the truth. Um, and it is so unfortunate. It is so unfortunate. So yeah. So anyway, my breakfast is done. Let me get in here and get my face and stuff together and go out here and get Casper started. And listen, y'all keep your eyes and ears open because again, they said Jelaine and Jeffrey over in Israel hanging out. Now the people all over the world then got a taste of the Epstein files, and of course they're blaming the entire Western civilization for all of the stuff that went down as they should, because ultimately it tells you who the real bad guys who the real bad guys are. And for people who are not doing their research, who are not looking into the files for whatever reason, because I ain't got time and they ain't told the truth and they knew and none, and that's fine. But if you're not doing the research, if you're not doing the homework, if you're not looking into it, then you can't ever have an understanding. You can continue to speak in emotion. So keep your emotion and your vibes over yonder, and I'll holler.